So I thought I was having a bad day when I woke up this morning and couldn't move fingers in my hand. And that is partially because I'm old, but also I have arthritis and I only have it in two joints. But right now I have it in my whole hand as well as my shoulder, which is why I have to keep my arm in this position. And that feels a little awkward, but it's nowhere near as awkward as the conversations that I've been having all afternoon, which I'm here to share with you. Let's start with the fact that I am aware of the comrade situation. Obviously, everyone, elephant in the room. I wasn't going to address it publicly because it didn't feel right. But it turns out a whole lot of people have been pinging one of my protest kids, Iris Butler, asking her to work on rectifying the situation. And she wanted me to come do a live and remind y'all, I'm going to love her, so I got to read this quote. Hey, Mom, could you tell all those honkies to stop asking Black women to do their labor? We're more tired than they are. Have them ask you, and then don't ever say the word honky again. So that's where we are. That's from Iris Butler, my protest kid. And I assured her that I'm actually already doing this work, and if I couldn't type it, apologies to all the millennials who had to speak to me on the telephone because I know y'all hate it. But I literally can't type right now, and I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to do my usual thread of this because as soon as I end this, I'm going to go put on my ice gloves and chill until my joints shrink. So I can't promise outcomes. I'm going to do my best. I've been through the restorative justice process before in multiple settings, both as perpetrator and his victim. And I know I can't promise outcomes, but I can promise that I'm going to do whatever's necessary to educate him. And it can hurt so much when it feels so simple. Like, just apologize, just own your stuff, own your shit. It can be so maddening. I do so much and I ask for so little. Just give me this. That's valid. And that's real. While you wait for the validation you deserve, which I promise you, I am working my tail off to get for you. I'm asking you to please focus on your own needs, because that desire for validation is valid, and waiting for it and insisting that you deserve something that may not be forthcoming, something that is fair and just, that may not be coming as quickly as possible. That in and of itself can be triggering to a lot of marginalized individuals. I know it can be triggering to me. Just apologize, just say it. You hurt me, just acknowledge it, when they don't. I'm not trying to defend this person. I'm not trying to defend anything other than my arm being in this position because my fingers really hurt, you guys. But I promise you are seen, you are heard, you are loved. And even if you can't see my labor, or the invisible grief that so many people are dealing with right now that we are surrounded by, I assure you, your grief and your hurt is neither invisible nor invalid. It means something to me. And I am working with this person as much as possible, trying to shield him from doing further harm to the community as well as himself, and working towards getting what you deserve. While you wait, please, please, please focus as much as you can on meeting your own needs. So while we talk about meeting our own needs, I would like to bring up two comrades, two friends of ours, not this comrade, but two different, totally unrelated people. I was going to do this today. I was not going to speak about comrade today, but I was going to speak about these other two comrades. There are two members of our protest community who do a lot, so much so that they have not been meeting their own needs. They have been filling everyone else's cup first. They have attended more events than I can count. They have donated countless hours. And not just doing invisible labor and emotional labor, but spending their own money. And I can't underscore how big of a deal that is, because in a capitalist society, we still are responsible for taking care of ourselves. This is a movement against a state that not only wants to kill us, but isn't going to support us when things go wrong. It's why what's happening with the unhoused is so egregious and so terrible. So I have spoken with both comrades and asked if maybe I could use my platform to help them a little bit. And I would like to do that right now. In a time when there is so much need around us, these are two people who are not usually doing the asking. You absolutely, if you know me and you follow me, then you absolutely know both of these humans. The first one is cut the plastic. Cut the plastic, just got a job bartending downtown at the Chris Kendall Market. And we had a long conversation last night about my feelings about that market, which I hate, and how important it is to the community and the jobs, the month-long jobs, the seasonal employment that it creates, and how important that is. And I agree with that point too. I just hate that we're in a place where that type of employment is necessary. And I think it's gross that it's happening in front of the unhoused, that we displace the unhoused to have this market, which is only going to provide temporary relief instead of long-term solutions to these complicated problems, which is what I'm pushing for. I get that. So all that just to say, his phone was broken by the police last week, and he immediately turned around and spent money he didn't have to buy a new phone, only for it to break again. So I would like to ask, and I'm going to put links here in the comments, if you have a little something extra, if you have seen this guy in action, you don't even have to like him, but he does do a lot of good. He's not perfect. No one is. I'm not begging for perfection. What I am saying is someone who shows up for this community, if we could show up for him right now so that he can focus on getting a little more stability with the seasonal job and go back to focusing on the other source of income he has, which is streaming, and he cannot do that without a phone. So I'm going to put, apologies for the slowness, but like I said, my shoulders hurt and so do my fingers. This hand's the worst. Here are, I just put the link up. So there's the Venmo, the Cash App, and the website. There are 3 places you can support Brian. I ask that you do. Just anything helps. If 100 people gave $5, that's a new phone and maybe a cover for it. He definitely needs a cover for the phone. He wants a Google Pixel. So there's that. If we do so much for people who have so little, it's easy to forget that the people who are doing the work, who see the need and are willing to address it, don't have much more stability than the communities they're trying to assist. And again, that's capitalism. So comrade number 1 is Brian. Comrade number 2 has to remain nameless, but this person is one of my protest kids. And I have watched him give the shirt off his back, quite literally, to people he thought needed it more than him. I have watched him burn himself out, run himself absolutely ragged, not asking, what do I need, but rather asking himself, what can I do, and giving at his own expense. Another offshoot of capitalism that's pretty ugly is called the IRS. And companies aren't terrific about owning their mistakes either. And it's a lot more egregious when companies do it. But when they make a mistake on filing your paperwork and you don't catch it and find out that you owe the taxman money, the IRS does not care, neither does the company. That is your burden to bear and your problem to solve because you took home money that wasn't yours. And that's where our comrade, our friend, is right now, owing the IRS $1,600, and he has 1 month to get it together before they're going to start garnishing his wages at a price that will be detrimental to his security. Again, this is someone you know. This is someone, if you've shown up ever in any capacity to any event, you've definitely interacted with. And we don't have to agree with everything they say or do. We don't have to like these people to agree that it's ugly that you're in need right now, to agree that the IRS is terrible and dangerous and destroys lives in order to get whatever it thinks it's owed. It's an arm and a tool of a fascist state that we're all fighting right now. So as this person wishes to remain private, but has allowed me to use my platform to crowdfund for him, I'm going to give you my Venmo and ask you make the donation to me, and I will get all of the money to this person. We're trying to raise $1,600. That's how much he needs. And he's got roughly 6 weeks to come up with it. And that's just awful. And you know how the IRS is. They don't let up. They don't make payment plans, and they don't care, kind of like the state. Let's reach out to this person and show him how valued he is and how much we care, and try to keep this tool of the state from consuming him during the holiday season. It's super stressful. So that's it. That is all I had to say. The final note is that, speaking of cell phones, since I mentioned them earlier, I myself am a victim of domestic violence, and I can tell you that this time of year, even before COVID, Domestic violence is always on the rise because money is tight, tempers are high, alcohol flows, and people are home a lot more than they usually are, which means tempers flare and the vulnerable are more at risk than ever before. So this is the perfect time of year to be collecting used cell phones, as I'll be doing for an organization called securethecall.org. We clean cell phones and redistribute them to victims of domestic violence as part of their safety plan, so that if things do turn immediately, they have the tool they need to make that call unmonitored and start executing their safety plan while they escape a potentially life-threatening situation with their pets and their children. So if you don't have children, do at least for the pets. So these, I've worked in the past with victims who couldn't leave because they couldn't find a place to take their dog. We make sure all that happens, and it starts with being able to make a phone call to execute a safety plan and plan a very careful escape. So if you have an extra phone, or if you're going to be upgrading your phone this holiday season, please consider donating it. I'll have the bin to collect them on Monday night, standing outside City Council. The organization is called securethecall.org. If you would like to reach out yourself and handle the phone yourself, feel free. Otherwise, wait till you see me, give it to me. But even if you have $1 that you wouldn't mind tossing to cut the plastic, so that he can continue to earn a little bit of revenue from streaming, he needs a phone in order to do that. Even if you don't like his streams, even if you don't watch his streams, you can all agree we need a phone right now. Please give even just a little bit to cut the plastic, and the links are right there. And then for comrade number 2, if we can keep the IRS out of his hair and this holiday season, then that might be one of the kindest things we could possibly do. And it's going to take $1,600 in order to do that. If you can, here it is. Oh God, that hurts. Okay, give me a minute and I'll type out my Venmo. But if you're a Venmo user, you can find me Mary-Katherini -Fleming, Fleming with one M. Mary-Catherine-Fleming. That's where I am. That's who I am on Venmo. If anything you can send, I will make sure 100% of it goes directly to the comrade who is facing the situation with the IRS. Now, there's nothing anybody can do for my arthritis except me, so I'm going to put on my cold gloves and complain about how weird it is to be old, and try to figure out why Iris was so insistent that I say honky and why she thinks it's funny. So I said it one more time, Iris, sorry. But now I'm going to end this broadcast and never say it again. Yes, you love this. We love you. Finally, remember, y'all, even Black women are the most marginalized, especially Black, queer, non-conforming, non-gender conforming women, disabled women, sex workers. There are many, many layers to this. Just because those who are at most risk can understand and articulate all of the threats to their safety and stability does not mean that they need to do all the unpaid, or any really of the unpaid labor in the community. So please stop asking Iris to do this. I'm already doing the work. I'm willing to collaborate with anyone who's willing to do the work, but in the name of harm reduction, if you've been harmed by the Comrade Weekend situation, please do reach out. There are people who are organizing restorative justice sessions, and I'll gladly point you in that direction. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't say or do anything to escalate any situations or make anything worse at the moment. While I manage that, please take care of yourself, meet your own needs first. And then if you have a little something left, let's help the comrades, those who help everybody else all the time, if we can help them a little bit too. That's how we show up for each other. This is what community looks like. And Mom loves you. I hope you feel safe and warm and loved. And if you don't, let me know and let's see what we can do. What we can go get, what Mom can go get for you. Have a good night.